Hello my friends! If you have watched my comparison video between Panasonic G9 and Sony A6500, you may know that I currently use Panasonic G9 as my main camera for hybrid shooting, but I will still keep my Sony A6500, and in this video I would like to talk about 5 plus 1 specific reasons why I don't intend to get rid of my A6500 anytime soon. Reason number 1 are the Sigma lenses, specifically Sigma 16mm f1.4, 18 to 35mm f1.8 and upcoming 50mm f1.4. As I've said before, I'm not the biggest fan of Sony's APS-C lenses, and I don't like to use full-frame lenses on crop sensor cameras. Thanks to Sigma, I was able to put together a lens collection that can cover all of my needs. Sigma 16mm f1.4 DC DN is one of my most favorite lenses of all time. It is extremely sharp when stopped down, sharp enough wide open, the build quality is great, the autofocus is fast and silent, colors and contrast are great, distortion, chromatic aberration and vignetting are corrected in camera, so it is an outstanding lens in my opinion. And this lens has actually stopped me from buying A7R Mark III because I just like the results that I can get with this lens at my most favorite 24mm full frame equivalent focal length. 18 to 35mm DC HSM is very sharp right from f1.8 across the whole focal range. It beats most of the prime lenses. Other optical qualities are great as well. The autofocus is really good. The manual focusing works very well. It is internal zoom lens. It is great design overall. The focal range is quite short and it is pretty heavy and not very well balanced on A6500, so I don't use it that much outside of my house, but I intend to change that in the future. I also intend to get either 50mm f1.4 DC DN once they release it, or 50 to 100mm f1.8 DC HSM to have something to cover those longer focal lengths. So big thanks to Sigma for making these lenses. Before anybody asks, no, I'm not being paid by Sigma, but I'm still waiting for their call. No, I'm just kidding. The reason number 2 are the picture profiles. A6500 fortunately has all of Sony's advanced picture profiles, so there is S-Log2 and S-Log3, 709, Cine 4 and so on. This is actually really important if you want to color grade your footage. Together with the dynamic range and incredible amount of detail in 6K video, which A6500 captures and downsamples to 4K, it gives you really solid video files that you can play with in post. My most favorite picture profile is picture profile 8 with gamma changed to Cine 4. It is flat enough to capture a lot of detail, but it is easier to work with than S-Log. I have also made a color grading tutorial with this profile and I will link that in the description. Reason number 3 is what I call the point and shoot mode or CSC mode. In the last couple of days I was looking for a compact camera like Sony RX100 Mark V to have something really small for specific situations. But then I realized that when I attached the 16 to 50mm pancake kit lens on A6500, it is actually not that much bigger, but the capabilities of this package are still in completely different league than with any 1-inch sensor camera. So I can basically carry this around like an average tourist without causing much attention. The kit lens is actually fairly sharp when stopped down, at least my copy. The contrast is pretty weak, but the ratio of image quality, features and focal range to size is still excellent. You still have that APS-C sensor, image stabilization in both body and lens, proper grip, so I definitely prefer this combination to any 1-inch camera, even though that it is considerably bigger. Reason number 4 is that the video autofocus of A6500 is still unbeaten. The G9 actually has really good autofocus. If you use it wisely, it won't let you down. But with A6500's autofocus, you can use it however you want and it will not fail unless you use it with wrong area setting. The face tracking is flawless and eye autofocus works great as well. Especially in very difficult hands-on shots at f1.4 that I really like to feature on this channel, it works great unless I make some mistake like moving the subject out of focus area. Someone could argue that I should use manual focus, but I still haven't found a way to do that when both my hands are in the frame. Reason number 5 is the 100 and 120p slow motion video. Panasonic G9 and GH5 can actually shoot 180p video, but it won't give you actual 120 frames. It will give you slowed down 24, 25 or 30 frames per second footage, which I personally don't like that much. Since the footage can't be played at 100% speed, you can only use it as a slow motion. Sony A6500 on the other hand gives you actual 120 individual frames that you can play at any chosen speed with recorded sound, and I do like the image quality of 120p footage. It just needs a bit of sharpening in post, since Sony is more conservative with in-camera sharpening in most picture profiles. Reason number 6 is combination of previous reasons that together make the A6500 an ideal camera to be used on gimbal. For me, what makes a good camera to be used on the gimbal is lightweight, good autofocus, good video capabilities, and selection of good lenses with wide aperture to emphasize that cinematic look by being able to blur the background. High quality display is also important, but I really can't say that A6500 has a good display, especially when it dims in 4K mode. I use the A6500 with Crane V2, not as often as I should, but when the weather gets better, I intend to use A6500 on the gimbal more. So to sum up, A6500 is still very capable camera for shooting both stills and video. It may not be the most user-friendly camera, but the performance is definitely there. It is still quite a unique package, and even for the price, it is a good deal in my opinion. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope that you liked this video and that you found it to be useful. Stay tuned for more videos and maybe consider subscribing if you don't want to miss my future content. I appreciate your feedback in form of thumbs up or thumbs down. If you would like to ask anything or share your opinion, please do so in the comment section, and see you next time.